Plenty of new faces are introduced to the table as the big game heads into its second night. Time waits for no man, and that's certainly true of the big game. A succession of players has come through Les Ambassadeurs. Some of them have left the table with a tidy profit, others less so, and some have fallen victim to an eviction decided on by the players themselves. But two men have risen above it all.
There are plenty of challenges in the big game, battling your fellow pros, surviving the evictions and resisting the lure of that ticking clock. Plenty have come and gone, just two have stood the test of time. Sam Trickett is racking up the hours. He's faced the most aggressive around this table and survived with a handsome profit. Andrew Feldman is one of the table's newest recruits and has started to turn a profit. Ellis Reuben took the place of a battered Oscar Pardo and has steadily built up his stack. James Mitchell is still trying to find his feet, but struggling. But there's no doubting the man to watch is Viffer. He's been up, he's been down and several other places, but he's always involved and has yet to face a vote. The most aggressive always safe from eviction. Simon Munst isn't quite sure what's hit him, so much so that he's heading for the door, saved by the eviction. Neil Channing joins Viffer as the only other man to have stood the test of time. Phil Laak waited for his chance to join the action, but is still waiting for the big break that will take him firmly into the black. Sam Trickett proving to be the master around this table. Viffer's aggression has taken him up and down this leaderboard, but at the moment he's on the up. Reuben, Feldman, Laak, Channing and Mitchell are all keeping their heads above the water. Simon Munst was happy to head for the door after losing nearly £25,000.
As another eviction closes the door on one player's big game dream, the way is paved for the irrepressible Tony G.
There's no one quite like Tony G. He's ripped into many a big game table, one of the original cast and still proving as popular as ever.
Today they're just a bunch of losers, boring players that it's going to be pretty, I want to chop them up, but I hope they mix it up. I think the game's too small, we've got to jack it up, but we'll see what happens, just have a bit of fun and see what happens.
So if we needed some livening up at the table, I think we're going to get it now. Tony G is sitting down with 20,000, probably the best entrance so far.
1,500.
And I'm joined now by Dusty Schmidt, Leatherass. Thanks for joining us. Thoughts on Tony G's entrance into this?
I remember that. Well,
Tony's always makes the grand entrance, and I expect something like that, although that one was pretty special there.
I don't know if the audience was right, considering the rest of the table have been at this for anything between 10 and 24 hours. They seemed a little bit nonplussed by that. I don't think they were quite ready for this.
I live for now, not the past. Not the future.
The future's going to come soon enough.
Yeah.
Just let's enjoy the present. We can enjoy now.
And there's a brief glimpse of Andrew Feldman's skirt that is come in today. Comfort first. Have you ever worn a skirt at the table in one of those long sessions?
I've hardly even been at the table, but I'm usually in my boxers playing on the internet.
That's the beauty of the online game.
Yeah. It's either like boxers, robe, or basketball shorts, usually. I never thought I'd go into live setting and people would wear even crazier outfits.
You were very close, guys and goals.
Oh, it's charging. I'm not using it, it's charging. It's charging.
Again, a move from Viffer here, just bad timing, and he's going to keep running into Tony G. He's going to have position on him so often. It's wonder if it's going to affect Viffer or if he'll just embrace it and keep firing off.
No.
I think he's going to like to think it won't bother him, but I'm kind of tending to think it will. So we'll see how he reacts to it. It's going to be interesting.
I guess also interesting that Tony G is obviously a bit more fresh than David is, so it depends if that will start to play a part.
Yes.
I figured Viffer wouldn't lay that hand down, even though it's weak. He wants to establish right away that he's not going to be bullied around by Tony G.
It's off, Martin. See, that's you just switched it on. Yeah, switching off. Delete. That's
just see money.
James.
This conversation I never would have gotten just.
Yeah, that's my phone.
Whoa!
Interesting call there from Viffer. I think 3,000 bet.
Well, these are the tough spots you get yourself into when you play hands like that out of position.
How are we going to get this game bigger?
Looks like he won it.
I think it is, yeah.
That's big enough.
Yeah, Tony not wasting any time getting all of his chips in there for...
Nice read, Tony. So easy for him, isn't it? Comes in 40 grand pot.
That's because no one else plays the hand like that.
That's okay.
Only Tony plays hand like that. Well,
So Tony, wasting no time, gets all of his chips in, gets the call from Viffer.
he figured he had the best time.
I mean, we expected Tony to come ready to fight, but this is kind of pretty quick to get all your chips in.
Well, I think we're seeing exactly what we've predicted here, that these guys are just not going to give each other an inch, and you know, a lot of guys would just give it to them the first hand, but they're just going to go ahead and play for stacks here with marginal holdings. This is a very deep pot here.
I mean, this is huge. I mean, in one pot, Tony G could just become like the biggest winner of the night.
Like 10 jack as well.
Yeah, but
You've got 2 tens in your hand.
yeah.
Well, that only makes things better for Tony.
Disregarding 3 queens, so worst case you're gonna.
Yeah, Viffer's hurting here. He's going to need a lucky river card.
Didn't like that.
Wow.
Too easy.
Wow, that is soul crushing right there.
Take it. Just take it. Take it, take it, take it.
Yeah.
You got to applaud Tony. He made a great play there. He made a great read. He's putting Viffer on a hand like a draw, or maybe even a queen he can push off. But I think he knows Viffer's unlikely to make a check raise with a queen there. That's probably going to be a draw or a bluff a lot, or some type of weak made hand. Tony made the right read and got sucked out on, but that's poker.
Tony G obviously not going to let that set him back. Going to bring another £20,000 to the table, but already got a mountain to climb.
The tempo is rising in this 48-hour cash game as we head towards the halfway stage of the big game 4. Welcome back to the big game. Over 23 hours down in this 48-hour cash game, and it's all changed at the top of our leaderboard. Sam Trickett riding high has dropped down to second. It's that man Viffer who has virtually doubled his profit. At the other end of the table, Tony G has come in all guns blazing, only to be shot down to the bottom of the board, losing nearly 15k.
Did you win that one?
I did. I was in front.
Oh, yeah? Did you have an ace in your hand?
No.
No?
Unfortunately, I didn't have.
Oh.
Fortunately, it wasn't produced as a nice track.
Match amount to Sam, who has suddenly become the second most profitable player on this table right now after that massive pot for Viffer.
So you made it 1,000.
Enjoying a massage.
With a hand involving a 3.
Must be nice to sit on that stack and get a massage by a beautiful woman.
Oh, you could have had a pocket pair. That's another possibility.
Yeah, I could go for that.
Discounting.
Yeah.
I don't think they come back here into the booth.
I won't go that far.
Maybe you just had a 3.
If they did, we'd probably have them here.
I think you had a 3. That's
Yeah, you probably hear it through the commentary. You hear our voices wobbling as the massage got more and more vigorous. I think you know what I mean.
I do.
Again, more moves from Tony G.
Excuse me.
So Viffer continuing to play these marginal hands here.
get me some hot water in a glass?
I mean, can you play these kind of hands? You know, in the long run, can you keep playing these hands? Because surely at some point you just end up handing your stack over to a superior hand.
I don't. I think it's tough. Some guys, if they have enough edge on the table, they can pull it off. I guess we'll have to see if David has that type of edge.
What happens if you have 2-7? You get 500.
From everyone.
You might win this pot and win 500.
Tony there just confirming the deuce 7 game still in action. If you win with the deuce 7, everyone has to hand over 500. It's driven a lot of big pots in this game so far. Probably more so than the actual legitimate hands we've seen.
So Tony G knows that king is very unlikely to have helped Viffer. Viffer's probably got a hand a lot of times like 7-8 or diamond draw.
Who's winning? Poker is basically
some type
the
of
only
middle pair.
winner.
So he's betting this for value.
This is profit right here. I broke up 12 hours before I tossed it over.
You see there Luke Schwartz returning back. He's taken a break. He was our biggest loser earlier on. He left the table about 32k down. But he will be back, I'm sure.
Yeah, you too.
And Phil Laak very keen to show him his small pile of profit. Do you have much experience of full flush?
20,000 first hand.
Just about the 6 or 7 hours I played. He actually thought he had a lot of experience with me because he took a guy on the internet who had a screen named Leatherass for like 400,000. He was telling me at the table, and it turned out that he thought it was me, but it wasn't.
That must have been a disappointment for him.
Right.
He had all these hand histories in his head already to pull up against you.
Yeah.
Turns out it was somebody else.
He's like, do you remember that match? And I was like, I'd remember that one if I was in it. I would have lost a home.
As long as we all don't complain, it's fine. Everyone's happy. His pain, he just takes the flop was queen 9-8. It was qualified.
Stand.
It's all good. Okay.
That's the burn card, okay?
Marty, go to sleep, mate. Get some rest.
300. Call.
I can run the show from here. Thanks,
Tony G very kindly offering to take over as not only a player but tournament director.
You want me to run the show?
I don't know if the other players will feel too comfortable about that.
So sick if you have a good hand.
But it's very nice of him.
Playing it, mate. Even though I'm getting such a big prize, I'm not playing it just in case.
Last time this happened to me,
You go broke and it's too sick.
Oh, it's landed the connectors out there.
Yeah.
I don't even want to work out which cards are going to hit everybody, but there's a possible flop that can make everyone go all in. That's pretty much what I'm thinking.
This has the makings of some serious fireworks, so hopefully we don't get disappointed with a Broadway flop.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it comes down to ace, queen, I'll be so devastated.
David, relax.
Will be interesting to see who wants it more, though, if it does come out that way. Because that's what it'll boil down to.
Yeah, Tony G's got the button here, so again, position, well, that's...
There's definitely going to be some action here on this flop.
I checked it after him.
Hang on, how much is in the pot?
There seems to be quite a bit of confusion about the entire hand from start to finish right now. I don't know if Tony is helping, but he's having a lot of fun.
So I like Mitchell's play here, actually. It's a type of flop where it's unlikely to have hit people too hard. You can represent a set since he limped in. We may actually see him run a multi-street bluff here.
You committed?
If he doesn't get raised off by Reuben.
Yeah, I guess this looks good to Ellis, doesn't it? He's got the backdoor flush and he's the only one with the up and down right now.
Wow, this could be exciting. I feel there's going to be a bad beat coming in this pot.
Well, if a 6 comes, Tony's probably right.
Oh, change your 800. Oh, I didn't hear. I thought it was... How much is it?
It's 1,200.
That's right.
Just give him 800.
Oh, I see.
I suspect Mitchell will give up on his bluff here, but he might not. He might surprise us and just continue to represent a set.
You know, I don't want to say anything bad. You know, I like having you in the game. You'll notice I haven't voted for you once today. I think I've said enough.
Well, Tony G's going nowhere if Mitchell tries to do anything.
Yeah, obviously that fourth heart
6,000.
6,000.
This frigging guy's unbelievable.
This puts Ellis Reuben in a really difficult spot here.
Do you think Tony might take over from Viffer as the aggressive?
It's interesting how even though we've only had a handful of hands here since Tony's joined, the general sizes of the pot are far greater than the general average we've had in the last few hours.
Oh, you got that.
That's
Okay.
17 and 200.
This could well suit Reuben. I think he likes a big game.
About.
Well, he's got it.
Ace.
Oh.
I'm all.
All in. Fold.
Well, didn't hang around. They're all in there. The last 20,000 of his stack and a 40,000 pot. I mean, you know, one players can make such a big difference.
Pair, straight draw on the
It was a rare thing to see any pot of this size earlier on, and now already we're seeing a lot of action.
Yeah. I would have liked maybe a little bit of a smaller bet there by Ellis Reuben. I feel like Tony G's only going to be able to call the 5 there. And Tony's kind of repped that he might have a big hand like 2 pair set. Give him maybe a little bit more of a callable amount.
Absolutely killing me.
300.
Oh boy.
Wow. Well, this is the first 7 deuce since Tony's joined the table, and the fact that Tony's the guy with it is of huge interest to everyone immediately.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he's going to empty the clip.
You think so? You think he could easily push 14,000 at this just to try and win the additional 500 off every player?
I think so.
Well, he's going to have to dodge a few hands. It's incredible that we've got 2 7 deuces out there. And look at the rest of the hands. Pocket 8s, pocket 5s, pocket 4s.
Well, if we get a Broadway flop, well,
I'm not actually going to go.
if he empties the clip here, he's in trouble.
Wow. That is incredible. I mean, obviously here the danger is for Channing as well.
Probably have like
This
one
is
beer and pass out.
about. I would be very shocked if all the money wasn't going.
Yeah, like 20, I think, just over.
1,000.
What was it?
Channing will never be able to get away from his hand unless he gets saved by something like the 6 of hearts, some really nasty card that makes his hand look not so attractive.
3,100.
You like 11?
Well, this is a big move up here from Ellis, but it's a dangerous enough flop that you're happy to kick most of these players out, I guess.
So not bad considering if you've been pretty good when you've been carded.
So Reuben taking the 7 deuce and trying to run the table over. Viffer's looking at the nuts and going, what the heck? Now it's coming back to Channing.
Yeah.
This is going to get ugly. This is a full blood black here. He can never get away from this hand.
Yeah, when I folded the river. Yeah, but you've already seen me.
Raises the 10,500 best part thereof.
Pretty tough. You only beat one hand.
This is one of those 6 spots as a poker player that you don't. That's going to stick with you for a while. You don't forget these types of hands.
You're calling me with 7-8. You could call me with 10-7 of hearts. 10-8 of hearts. Yeah, could even be bluffing the same hand.
A call here looks incredibly strong. It looks like a set. I would. I think sticking all the money in is the only play for Channing here. At least he can represent a hand like 5-6 or a flush draw.
We all love.
Yep. I think with the wave of the hand he's done it. He's gone all in for 32,000 here.
Channing's actually praying that he gets called.
3 4s.
Yeah, Reuben wishes he never even got involved.
33,000.
I said I hope you have 3 4s. I call. Stop. You want to run twice?
8 first.
Oh yeah.
You want to run once or twice?
Once.
One time you have 1 out.
Huh?
1 out.
Channing just wants to get on with it. Get the pain out of the way, or let me get lucky.
Set on set. And I was playing with the 2-7.
Yeah, this is gonna sting.
There might be a nitty player
I chose a good
or
time.
two.
Feel the forward
I don't, you know, there probably isn't a player in the world you can get away from this hand from. Even David
bigger chance
Viffer,
for 4 to come now.
especially not David Viffer, but I don't think there's anybody you could find a fold against here. There's only one hand you lose to, and there's a bunch of draws.
Look at that. It's so
Got the
close.
7 deuce
It's the
game.
right suit. It's everything.
There is literally one
under
card
a
left in
5.
the world right now that Neil Channing wants to see.
Wow, you did it.
Wow.
And he hits it.
Wow.
And I felt it.
Now, what does this do to
And
Viffer?
who felt it? I felt it.
Channing, stop moaning.
That is the sickest beat I've seen in a
He
very
didn't
long
have many
time.
chips though.
That is just a
didn't
lot
have
to
any
take.
chips.
I mean, you know, like we thought anybody was going to get away from that hand, but that is such a cruel blow for Viffer. takes him down to having just over 3,500 profit. I mean, that would have taken him through the roof.
I'll tell you, I've been there before, and he is absolutely numb right now.
Yeah. Yeah, probably doesn't know how to fill. I mean, Channing knows that that was an incredible piece of luck for him, but that takes him up.
If I were him, I'd kind of take an orbit off.
Yeah, that you need to walk away there. But
okay, it's good news. It's a poker news, £1,000.
More good news for Channing. He's got an extra £1,000 to fight over in this next pot. Hands it over to Kara Scott. We'll have the lovely task of handing it to the winner. And once again, we wonder how many thousands of pounds can people throw at a pot just because it has one extra thousand in it.
Well, it's one of those situations where when the stacks are deep, you can't really make any significant changes to your strategy. However, if your stack is shallow, you can start to get all the money in very lightly pre-flop. So look out for a guy like James Mitchell, who might fight for this pretty hard with a shorter stack.
Cost you nothing. You got me, you got you. It's all,
Phil Laak's certainly going to take a look at this.
It's all going the right way. Just skip me. There's one jump, and he's next. Well, you'll get some. I don't care.
Andrew, for once, probably wishing the 8 was a 7.
Cool.
He could make loads of extra money.
Then we can make some real TV. That's the key.
Cool.
I suspect
We'll make the game much quicker.
Yeah, there's a door in.
Get him in. Yeah, you get him in.
Fly him over.
Check.
This is his friend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to take a look at this. It's a bagatelle. Roll the dice, see what comes out on the flop, and see who might be able to take a claim out of this added £1,000 in the pot.
Well, this is a complete jump ball pot.
Yeah.
Nobody has a hand I like.
How do you manage to get 6 ways to a pot and no one really gets anything for their troubles?
Check. Check.
Who cares about the money?
It's going all the way around.
As long as you're happy, that's the key. Happy, you feel good, you're a good man, that's it. That's what's important.
Oh, I think Tony G is trying to do a pep talk in the background, but I don't think it's going to really help right now.
So David Viffer with the overwhelming lead here, but he still is going to face a tough decision at some point in the hand.
Yeah, Phil Laak has decided to take some decisive action. Oh. That's a shame. Phil Laak, the man brave enough to throw some chips out there.
Well, for 450, I don't think David Viffer's going anywhere. If he'd bet 4,500, that might have taken down the pot.
Oh, you got to feel for Viffer. He does look a bit broken right now. You kind of just want him to win a pot just for the sake of his soul.
Oh, the fry check.
Check.
I just have an ace.
That's good.
That'll be good enough. Well, as you said, after that blow with the quad 4 scenario, the extra 1,000 probably won't feel like it really does much for him.
Big pots, boys.
An extra £1,000 for you.
Viffer and Channing, the 2 contestants at this table here since the very start and trading massive blows in this session. Fortune favouring Channing. More to come in the big game 4. Welcome back to the big game. Neil Channing picks up the baton, and after his clash with Viffer is riding high, touching the 40k mark. Trickett holding his own, Viffer tumbling down the table but still in black. Mitchell, Laak and Tony G all below their starting stacks.
Yeah, we should do that. Like I walk on now, this will do us here. Exactly. Reveal himself. And we can announce it's me.
Neil, how's that feel?
Yeah, it was.
I felt it with you, mate.
I like the river.
Actually, it made me really happy inside. I'm glad you won, mate.
I didn't. To me, he had 3 hands, you know, and I wasn't in great shape against 2.
Well, you don't need to explain it. Hand plays itself, doesn't it, Broughton?
Yeah, but the way this betting pattern's gone, he must have either a set
said, do you
or
want to
a
run it
straight
twice?
flush draw.
Do you want to run it twice? And you say no, and then you hit it on the river.
No, well, the reason I say no is because I think I'm going to lose this like every time.
And you don't need to see it.
Fuck on with it. I don't need it to take half an hour. I don't need the dealer to have it.
How good's that though?
I don't need, you know, I just want to get on with the game. And I want to buy some more money and play a hand, you know.
Yeah, it's a fair point being made there, is that in that hand that Neil sucked out on the river, he did have the option to run it twice and said, no, let's just go for it.
You know all that moaning you did?
I don't blame. I'd be the same way. I would just be like, get me
It's
out
your
of
year,
here.
mate, trust me.
Yeah.
Bracelets galore this year.
Yeah, the longer you have hands like that go on, the harder it is to leave them behind, so.
Maybe I'm going to run good for a while.
Plus, when you spike and you get the whole thing, it's kind of nice. You can't spike twice.
That's true. That's absolutely true, yeah. Although, wouldn't that be something to only have 2 outs and to hit it on both runs of the board? Well, I mean, Tony's in this for one reason. All eyes on the prize of the 7 deuce. Looks like he's going to wait for the river to make his move.
Queen.
Oh, yeah, queen. Oh, or a 3.
2,000.
2,000.
I don't know. I got a feeling you have something.
Oh, I've got to have something, like.
I don't know, it looks like there's too much there. Yeah, maybe you've got deuce 7. I can beat deuce 7. It's about the only hand I can beat, though.
Well, then you should call.
I should probably fold, though, really.
Reverse psychology from Tony here.
I know what I can beat.
All right, he's folding.
I have a feeling Channing will find a fold here.
I've got deuce 7.
That was expensive for Neil in more than one way.
What are you doing there? Why are you killing my hand?
I think because I've got deuce in my hand, there's way less chance that you have deuce 7.
Why did you kill my hand so quickly?
Tony wanted to enjoy the deuce 7 a bit longer.
No, it's not collecting. Everyone's playing.
And as everybody hands over £500, they must be thinking, he told you he had the 7 deuce, Channing. What are you folding for? Well, this looks like Sam Trickett is going to take his profit and leave us. Nearly 25 grand up. Good day's work for him.
It didn't start very well. Started off by maintaining my stack for a first hour or two, not really getting any hands, and then I bluffed off like 6 grand. Got that hand wrong. Ground it back up, made a move with the 7-2, and obviously that picked me 4 grand up, which was a nice spot for me. It's like the best spot I got in for the first few hours, and then just went well from there. Really, I found a few hands, a few top pairs, and got maximum value basically.
Also looks like James is going to take a bow.
I had Viffer on my direct left, and he was playing like almost every hand, and every time I was opening he was 3-betting. Plus I also had that Munz guy, the German guy, on his left as well, and he was like squeezing pots, and it just meant that I couldn't be opening too light because I was getting played back at, so I kind of had to sit snug, and I didn't get any hands, so it just didn't really pan out.
I want to get some more money. And get
So we see there James leaving us.
No, that was.
Believe me, I've lost.
As play carries on, we've also lost Sam Trickett.
Yeah, it was a pretty
We'll be expecting 2 new players anytime soon. There's certainly enough people in the room that want to get into this game. Sam's got to be pleased with the way he ended up. James probably not so.
There's enough sticking around in this game without running it twice, 3 times.
But these guys won't worry too much about being a couple of players short.
Without really closing it down, especially as we're having
1,025.
as it is, it's not like we can get it.
Well, that's Ellis Reuben's time to pick up something worth fighting with. And this is perfect timing. Half the equation is getting the aces. The other part of the equation is having someone that actually has something big enough to come back at you. Do you think the jack's coming on the turn on the river?
Yeah, the way that's going right now. You wouldn't be surprised if a couple of them come.
Yeah.
Wow.
I forgot about the flop.
Oh, okay.
How long?
Well, will he raise now or just call?
Yeah. No point in making someone come back and then be immediately evicted after an hour of waiting around.
We got a flush draw?
No.
Jack 9 there.
2 jacks, you win. You're way ahead of me.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty sick to see that.
I haven't won yet. You do have a backdoor flush.
Well, nothing you can do there.
2 spades.
No, and it's another big, massive pot here. Just again, Tony G's involvement in this game has just suddenly elevated this.
Just got interesting.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I'm way back.
To lose. Happy to lose. Happy to lose.
Not on this occasion. So the door swings both ways.
We had a bit of fun.
Sam Trickett takes home a tidy profit, but his seat won't stay empty for long. Let's welcome in seat 1, Roberto Romanello.
I'm not looking to really tangle with anybody in particular. If I find a spot where maybe I can bluff somebody off or take advantage of a certain player, maybe I'll do that. But I always like to wait and see and sit down and feel the game first before. I'm not one who just says I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You have to wait and see and feel the game first, and then just take the game as it goes.
Yeah, and I guess not the worst seat in the house either. He's coming in with 20,000. He's got Andrew to his left, who's kind of been a bit looking quite frustrated in the last few hours.
Coming into seat 4 for James Mitchell, it's Dixie Dean.
To be honest with you, I'm not a massive cash player, not Holdem anyway. I like to play a bit of home hard, but all the great players here, it's on the telly, there's some good players here. Hopefully I can get a few scalps and win a few quid. It's just nice, I like it, all the bars and the prestige of the television.
My granddad did this. There's not much I could have done with
But
that.
10 grand in front of him to start with. I certainly think I'd rather have Roberto's seat than Dixie's there. I mean, what's the difference? If you're sitting in Roberto's seat right now, what are the differences between your attitude towards the game and if you're in Dixie's spot?
Are we all in it? Are you in it?
Well, Dixie is going to have to, play pretty tight. He's going to have to wait and pick his spots. I mean, he can get in, try and get inside these guys' heads, but it might be a tough battle for him.
You see all this Stu's inquiry when you went with 7.
Well, this is good news for Roberto.
40 hours, you forget. Yeah. You just play all the hands.
Raise to 350 total.
The Jack 10 for Feldman. I'll tell you, it's a sign. It's an omen.
And he makes a good fold there.
Re-raise to 1100 total.
Meanwhile, a completely different style of play.
Oh, I play that anyway.
So it looks like Viffer decides to put some pressure on Romanello early. Wants to kind of announce his presence here. I think a lot of times he would have just called.
And still the bike behind Roberto there, supplied by Tony G, in case anyone wants to get on it.
Be a tough bike ride for me back home to the States.
And quite wet as well.
Would be.
Hey, if you get a walk, you get 1,000. Reward all the good players, the tight.
Well, again, up against a player like Viffer, you never know if a flop like that's good or bad news.
If you win. In the show.
He's just going to put him in a really tough spot here, I'm sure, with a bet. 1,500. Romanello can try to be a hero, but his hand's going to be a little bit face up if he tries to just check call and not a flush.
I mean, I was hoping there'd be some spice, get some emotion.
Yeah, Roberto not players going to rush into any hasty decisions. Have a little think there. Decided to continue with this. No doubt going to put his foot down at a later street.
Viffer's wondering what he can push him off of at this point.
We had a few moments today.
It's the best part of irrelevant, I guess, at this stage. Of course, it does give the gut shot to Viffer.
You was having
maybe 10 hours. Huh? Yeah, he was winning 20, losing 30, winning 20, losing 30.
Well, he's going to continue to apply pressure to him.
He was probably down 30 or something and went for a
Romanello is basically beating everything but a pair that was re-raised pre-flop.
Jennifer won 35 straight off the bat.
Unlikely Viffer would continue to bet ace-king here. He might choose to take his hand to showdown.
The other girl that was here, Lawrence, the girlfriend.
And also be interesting to know exactly how much Roberto knows about Viffer. Well, he would have worked the room and found out as much as he could.
She came over for the Women's World Open and they said, why don't you come and play this?
So it looks like he's going to make the hero call.
She won like 20 grand.
And if he's going to call that turn, I'd imagine he'd call this river. Viffer might get caught with his pants down.
Yeah, and I guess it's hard for Viffer to give this up.
Well, I think at this point he's just gonna fire.
But yeah, I guess the point you make is right. Is if Roberto's happy to call that on the turn, then he has to continue and call here.
Well, I think if he's going to commit on the turn, he's got to just make the decision to call down. This would be a pretty sick call.
It's a bit annoying. He does like, you know.
It's better.
Because you know Viffer's not going to give up on his bluff.
Well, we know Roberto is entirely capable of making these kind of hero calls.
That's easy, yeah?
Yeah, it's almost like every single fibre of his body just thinks he's ahead here. But as you say, you just know how dumb you look when you're wrong, and you don't want to start off a session like this just handing over a big wallop of your chips.
Yeah, and that plays into it too. You hate to take a big hit early, and I think Viffer may know that.
Wow. Well, you can sense just how close Roberto was to making that call.
I don't think Viffer will
That was a
show.
long part. What do you guys?
Sweden.
Yeah. Anyone want sashimi?
Oh, are you doing? Yeah, that'd be great.
Eel sashimi. That's it.
I want like 12 pieces.
How many?
Well, Tony, I love everything on that menu, so whatever you think is good, I'll go with it. What kind of stuff are you?
Well, here we go again.
Just,
who will be crippled by this next game
what do you want?
of the 7-deuce game?
You want sashimi?
Yeah.
Dixie's going to get involved. We've not seen much of Dixie Dean so far. Not had too many reasons to be involved. Well, now we'll find out how far is Ellis Reuben prepared to go in his quest to win with the 7-deuce.
Thank you.
I don't know, I didn't check. I've got some good news for us on that.
I'm getting you a hot dish.
Now I've got to pay almost all of my profit just to look at one little file.
Phil Laak is always so constantly aware of exactly how much profit he has. He hates to put it in. Doesn't matter how big or small it is.
1100.
You're wired in.
This would be a sick re-raise if Reuben can find the heart.
Yeah, I mean, again, how much trouble can you get into trying to win this additional money? But it is
Guys, if I go into my
3.5 grand. So.
I'd rather see him try and take down the pot right here as opposed to call and try to outplay a bunch of tough opponents post-flop. If he re-raises pre-flop, he makes them have a big hand. And it's a guy like Viffer who's just not going to have it that often when he makes that raise.
Oh, that just makes it even easier for Ellis Reuben to do himself some real damage here. 3,500 in the pot.
Ring you and I said, no, not really. I said, if I see something wrong, what?
19. 1,900.
As far as I know. But then he said, we can monitor race to race. Do you know what that means? That means you can increase the increments. They do it.
Well, I guess Viffer's got to play this hard.
The reason why I can't.
Or is he just going to try and string this along for some more action?
Every 5 minutes. I haven't got the time.
I mean, can you afford to do anything but play that hard?
Well, given the stack sizes, they're deep, but they're not. You know, if Ellis had 57,000 to match Viffer, I think Viffer plays that a little slower. But
Aces again.
well, this is a chance for Ellis Reuben to make some money here because he can improve, obviously, and not only would he take the pot of 36,000 from Viffer,
Last
but
time it was expensive.
you get paid off as well by all the other players for winning with the 7 deuce.
That definitely factors into the equation.
Everyone's in a pot.
Well, I guess it makes a huge difference, doesn't it, to the size of the pot for him?
$500 if you
does.
can't pull a deuce or a 7 here.
Viffer's determined to win this.
Oh, wow. That is a pretty, that's a punishing blow. I mean, Viffer must just feel like a punch bag.
That's the stuff that wears on you there.
I mean, if you're not getting
5-9,
one outed,
6, I'm going to give you 100.
you're getting clobbered by the 7 deuce game. Wow, that's painful stuff.
Viffer's night goes from bad to worse as the deadly combo of 7 deuce strikes again. More to come in the big game after the break. Welcome back to the big game. Over 25 hours down, just over 23 hours still to play. Viffer still reeling after his latest clash.
You just stream it by. You just get it there. You just order it and take it.
Or call the other one. There's another one in
there's another one.
Barclay Square. They might not be so busy. It's only
Berkeley
20
Square, yeah. You don't need to. You go there and you get it. You don't try to get a delivery. They probably called them to get a delivery.
Oh, it's on you anyway.
Anyway, says Channing, never mind the
You
sushi.
just go there and get it.
Okay, raise to 300 total.
Casually raise with your premium hand.
Sorry.
That's section.
Well, there's a lot of problems in the world, but I think one of the bigger ones to Tony G right now is getting dinner.
Yeah. Who'd have thought? I mean, he's got a bike. I mean, he could just pop down and pick it up if he's that worried.
I'm telling you, I got to tip the dealers. The boss
They
is
could
telling me.
bus someone, send them home on their bike, and have them to pick up dinner on the way back too.
100,000.
Well, Ellis Reuben must think life is sweet right now. He can do no wrong.
Paid 700 quid for the drinks.
Obviously, the
I
flop's
didn't
yet
even know I had to tip the
to
dealers.
occur, but
I didn't know I was going to get told.
Yeah, where you went wrong. You got to
right now he must be pretty pleased with things.
That's my profit and loss on the horse today.
No, it looks bad if you just late now.
Oh, I've done it before. What you must have said didn't
Yeah,
come
it was raised up to 2,500 by Ellis, called by Tony, and now called by Neil.
He says we can manage your bets. I said, so you're telling me you can manage my bets from morning till night?
Reuben made a big re-raise just trying to take it down pre-flop, but
Very quiet.
gets called in 2 places.
Lots of noise talk.
But I don't think he minds it now.
No. I mean, how does he play this now? What's the most profitable line to take in this situation?
Well,
4,000.
that's a tough one. I might make kind of a weak leader at check. I don't think you want to just pot it into people and let them lose heart. It's such a dry flop. He can consider actually slow playing this, which I generally don't recommend too often, but
I've done it the way we usually do it.
may not be a bad spot here.
He's
got the deck so crippled.
And I guess you pick your opponents to have Tony G as an opponent in this particular hand changes the way you approach it too.
Yeah, I don't mind making it look like I have ace-king here and I'm, you know, hoping to hit my card or hoping you're bluffing.
Do it for today.
Check.
And I said, oh, do it every day then. And I said, if I want any change.
Well, dreams do come true. Reuben keeps improving and Tony keeps
All in?
betting.
All in.
And again, Tony G probably the only real player that you'd shove all in against. Not going to work on this occasion, but still a juicy pot.
Yeah, I'd rather see him just go ahead and check call the turn as well, because if Tony G does have the hand he's representing, which is a 9, all the money's going in anyway. So I'd rather see him give Tony a chance to hang himself. I don't like that all-in play there, and I think it may have cost him a few more chips.
Yeah, I guess it just makes it too easy for Tony to give up.
How do I miss?
Well, he's making Tony have the 9, which, like we said, he would have gone broke with that hand eventually anyway.
I don't really like the bluff. It's very risky. When the guys wake up with some big hand, it's a terrible feeling.
Call. 225.
This is nice. Nice one for Roberto to make a move on. He's been quiet for the last few hands.
Raised 1225.
I like this re-raise here. Puts maximum pressure on them pre-flop, makes somebody have a monstrous hand.
Yeah, and Andrew, it's really getting to him now. He's just having such a hideous run of cards, but you can see it's not just bouncing off him now, it's starting to sink through.
I'm playing with every single hand I got.
That's sometimes not a bad spot to make it about 3,300 because you just haven't played a pot in forever, and the guy might even be able to get away from queens.
Yeah, but I think that's what I mean, is it feels like it's affecting him enough that he's just starting to get too cheesed off with this to even start being that, you know, that considered.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
I'm so sorry. Split the black in half.
Okay, it's not personal. It's, you know, I like you.
But the re-raise here with king-queen suited kind of defines his hand. He has position. He forces people out of position to have a big hand to come over the top or to have tremendous heart to come back over the top.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of putting the heat on him, and I think this is a good play.
It's 46.
That's fun, right?
Okay, raised 4,600. That's now 4,006.
But Laak did have, or Channing did have the heart here. Romanello is not sold that this is a big hand, but I think ultimately he'll probably get away from it more often than not.
You and me always gamble.
Well, he's lining up to take a look at a flop from here.
I want to gamble too. I just had a good stack to like play a big pot. Now I got to start a game. That's what I hate, you know. I wish I could just put more money on there. Stupid rule. Well,
Romanello's showing a lot of heart here. This might have something to do with the ace-queen hand from earlier.
Why have a rule that you can't put money on the top? I can't figure it out.
And I don't see how he's going to get away at this point.
Could be any amount you want.
Yeah.
He's in the lead,
That's like what
thankfully.
they do in America.
Yeah, good position as well. No doubt.
Eddie, we can get rid of
Take
the
a look
rule
at the
if
pot
everybody
size and
agrees,
decide,
people can just put
take
whatever
a
they want
stab
on the
here.
table.
I mean, surely
And
after
the stack
taking that
size.
long to make the call, you've got to carry on and just show as much
You can let
strength as you
people
can
buy
here.
in for whatever they want.
All in.
Well, it's a really bad spot for Channing to actually follow through because so many queens in Romanello's
Can we
range.
ask?
Ace-queen, you know, occasionally with king-queen, but a lot of times he might just have pocket queens.
Does anybody
pre-flop.
object? Do you object?
At last, Jennifer Tilly is overtaken on the best performance leaderboard. Ellis Reuben taking the honours with nearly 40k to his credit. Channing is knocking on the door. Trickett, now out of the door, went away with nearly 25k. Schwartz, the undisputed leader on this board, nearly 40k down, but likely to be back for more. Tony G still at the table and looking to turn his dwindling stack around. His cause won't be helped by the return of Robert Williamson III, a big winner last time out, voted off but on his way back.
Here I am, I'm back for round number 2. And you know what, if they vote me off again, I'll stick around for round 3 if they'll let me.
The pain and suffering, the moments of hope and glory, it's all here in the big game 4.